All right, I'm going to tell the story of the broken mala bead. This is my mala. My mom got me most of the beads on the mala, so it's pretty important to me, and they're stone beads, and they bumped up against something, and one of them got a chip out of it. I found the chip, and I was thinking, well, I have two options. I can either remake the whole mala bead, because I have a couple extra beads, or I can use some super glue and try to fix it back together. And but the bead will always be broken on it, and I could easily restring it with very little effort. And it dawned on me that most everybody's walking around with a broken piece of themselves, and of course they could, easily cobble it together. And that's what most people have done. They've tried to cobble these broken pieces of themselves together so that they can function. But we don't have to. I realize we don't have to do that. We can just restring the whole mala with, or restring our whole self with this knowledge of the true self, of our true self. And we don't have to cobble these pieces of a broken mala bead back together so that we can function. We don't have to cobble these broken pieces of ourselves back together. All we have to do is realize that they're not real. They're not the truth of us. We don't have to cobble these broken pieces of ourselves and carry them around with us forever, because they're not us. We don't have to do that. And by realizing the self, you realize that all the beads and all these broken pieces of ourself are not true, and they're not who or what we are. And I thought that was important teaching, because, and I think everybody has these pieces of their identity or personality that feels broken through trauma or what have you. And I left the broken bead on here because I thought the teaching was important. This is an internal teaching that came through my own heart. Nobody taught me that. And so I chose to keep the broken piece on there. And just know that it's an illusion. It's not the truth of us. And at any point I could easily restring it. But I want to keep that on there to remind myself that these broken pieces that pop up from time to time within ourselves are not true. They're not real. They actually only exist in our own head. And so that's what I wanted to share about the the tale of the broken mala bead. And since I have the mala out, I might as well do a little how-to on how to use a mala. So you have 108 beads, and then you have at the end a larger bead that is known as your guru bead. And some traditions say you should count the beads with your counter hand, the hand that you don't write with, and some are very strict about only using the left hand to count them. And I just use my right hand because that's what feels natural to me to count with the mala bead. And you count them with your middle finger and your thumb. And you let them run across your ring finger. There's actually a nerve here that goes directly to your spine. So when you do that, it's actually pulsing through the spine. And just to use a quick mantra, I use the mantra Ram, which is an incarnation of Vishnu and Krishna. It's the name of God. And Ram's story is depicted in the Ramayana. And I would say it's hard to say which came first, the mantra and the name, or the story. That's just my 2 cents. But so you go around the mala like so. You count as you say your mantra. You count it out like so. And I believe Ram is a very powerful mantra. It is actually what this reality is built on, is the name and the sound of Ram. And nobody taught me that. That's something that my heart taught me. And then when you come to the end with the guru bead, you say Om. Now, I say Aum. Some people just say Om. I say Aum because that is the sound that reality makes when seen from the self. And again, that's not something that anybody taught me. That's something that was experiential. So we'll just go through 108 Rams, and then we'll end. And that's how I'll end this video. But you always start out with 3 Ohms. So you can, while you're doing this, you can choose a point on the wall and stare at it while focusing on your Ajna chakra, the third eye. You can choose a photo of a saint or a deity to focus that on, or you can close your eyes and focus on what is inside. But again, there is no inside. There is no center. There is no ground. There's only infinity, and there's only God. So we'll start with the Om. How about it? And when you've gone through the 108 and you do your 3 ohms, then you turn it around and you go back. You don't cross over the guru bead. When you get to the guru, you turn around. So that's all I wanted to share. I don't know if that helps anybody out, but it always feels good. And you know, there's many mantras, and you don't have to do it at the clip that I did it at. You can Ram, 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 and there's many mantras, and depending on your tradition or religious bent, you may choose whatever mantra or whatever mantra comes to you. So, infinite blessings and love. I love you guys. Peace. Namaste.